So we're here again. We have another reaction. This is about the infamous Cheesecake Factory lady. She was asked to be interviewed by the Truth Factory. Wesley did a great interview, so we're going to actually watch the video and give our reaction and see what really is going to be asked and how is Alicia going to react and how Jay is going to react. So let's get into it.
Rise and shine, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Truth Factory. This episode is going to be a little bit different. Typically, we talk about devastating issues inside of relationships and try to talk about the nuanced things in that relationship to heal it. This time, we're going to talk about dating. So I don't know if you guys have saw the viral video, but there's a viral video where a woman is taken to the Cheesecake Factory and she does not want to go inside of there. She does not want to be embarrassed. This conversation ended up going viral, and here we are. Alicia, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, thank you.
Jay, pleasure to meet you. Welcome to the show, and thank you guys for being willing to come here and have this dialogue. I'm sure you guys have gotten a lot of flack, maybe even some backlash and things of that nature from this video going viral.
Well,
Before we get into it, we're going to take a moment and just relook at that video. It's been a couple of weeks, so here we go right here.
yeah.
Do we play the whole thing?
No, well, we'll just play a part of it and yeah. She whispered Cheesecake Factory. Like it's a taboo subject.
He was like, what? There's nothing.
Tell them I said hi. Yeah. Woo. Let me just get the door for you.
You know what? First of all, my first reaction to this is how she took her camera out and started to record a date. And I guess Jay just decided to go along with it, but she just started recording the date. So I don't know if she actually had a discussion with him prior to starting to record a date, but let's continue to see.
Okay. He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. Oh, you're not this call. Yes.
Would you want me to open the door for you? Are you're recording me?
Yeah.
You see, based on his reaction, I don't really think he acknowledged that she was really recording for her social media followers.
He didn't know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
You want to talk about it? I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we going.
That reaction on her face. Oh,
Yeah,
let's talk about it. Like you know that is as if she's so entitled. It's like I feel like I'm beating a dead horse by saying entitled because, like, just look at her expression on her face, right? Like, you had the temerity to take me to the Cheesecake Factory. It's crazy. Hold on, one more. Let's continue.
Okay.
Let's continue. Okay.
So
Yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So you expect a man to go all out on the first date. Is that right?
I mean, you're supposed to. When you take out a beautiful woman
and you're courting her because I get courted. So you're courting her.
That's what you say. And when you're courting her, because I get courted. That just gets me, man.
And I don't know why they keep bringing up, a beautiful woman. That's for somebody else to decide.
Exactly. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I guess she's her creator and her beholder. She's everything in one.
Yeah, sound right.
Right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well. Right?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I agree.
Not
I
at the
went
Cheesecake
into this
Factory.
date as I expect, with the expectations for myself to keep you safe, to respect you, to pay for your food, of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman.
Let's
which I
skip
believe
forward.
I have done.
I mean, you.
Let's go right to
The interview.
the interview, yeah.
You've had some time to think about what you guys discussed in the car. I'm sure you've had some time to think about it.
Yeah.
Before I ask you any questions, have you guys had a second date?
No.
No second dates.
Not yet.
Okay. So I'll start with you, Jay. What has dating been like for you since that video went viral?
Before Jay responds, when Kevin Wesley said, "Have you had a second date?" And Jay responded with, "Second date?" Like, kind of like, that's what I get from him. But when she said, "No, not yet," as if
Expecting a second date.
Yeah.
She thought it was going to happen or something.
yeah, without even asking him, "No, not yet." That's the entitlement that I see that she's projecting.
Since I was on the video, kind of unexpected, I might not have put my best foot forward, and so I feel like, I've not really met anyone since who I've really gotten to get to know like that, because a lot of women, they might have seen the video or might have heard from it, or maybe a friend of them has seen the video and shares it with them. And so they kind of had this image of me based on the video.
He said, I don't know if you got it, if you caught what, but he said, "I don't think I put my best foot forward." And my opinion is that he put his best foot forward by putting his foot down to someone that was trying to take advantage of him.
Right.
And he's reacting to, or he's feeling some kind of pressure from people that he thinks that people are looking at him lesser because he put his foot down on an entitled person. What's your feedback to that?
Yeah, I get the same feeling. Like, he's taking it as like people are looking at him like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. You should have actually taken her to the other place." And but I think he handled the situation pretty well. A lot of people would have just been not so nice about it. They would have just, I mean, I guess he took her home after that. I think that was the right choice of action.
When you say other people might have not been so nice, like what I told you I did when that
they may have just told her, "Get out of the car,
Yeah.
get yourself an Uber back home."
Yeah, remember what I told you I did many years ago when that chick was on the phone while we were going on a date, and I tell her to come out of the car and point her to the restaurant and tell her to call the guy that she was talking to to come and take her to the date.
Right.
So, again, I'm going to just say in this one, he's a better guy than me because he took her back home. Well, it's a different scenario, right? Mine was, I was almost at the date and she was talking on the phone to another guy while we were going on the date. She wasn't doing that.
Yep.
Right. So I guess rightfully so, he should take her back from where he picked her up.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it hasn't really helped.
Okay.
Exactly. It's like they might think everything about me is reflected in that video, and I don't think it is. And but yeah, it's been difficult.
Sure.
Well, and it's even before this, you know, dating has already been difficult for me. You know?
I imagine your views kind of clash with what you're looking for and what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think so. Because, I mean, I think in general, my values kind of reflect wanting to build something that lasts.
Yes, sir.
And I want to make sure that anyone that I meet is willing to build a really strong foundation based on our mutual values. And
isn't it crazy, like how you know, we're told that that's what they want, you know, women, you know, like basically what he just said, right? But if you do this, they actually run for the hills.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like they don't want, if you approach a woman with you know, if you lead with relationship talk, you know, they don't respond
well
in
to
favor
that.
to that, you know, like they usually go like, oh, this guy's too clingy, you know, like how am I going to get rid of him? Like they typically ghost you. They don't answer your phone calls anymore, you know, like he's doing, like, he's that typical guy, you know, that usually, that's why he said that dating has been difficult for him, you know, because he talks about it, which is, it actually makes sense, you know, like he's dating with a purpose, you know. So you would assume that you know, the woman is also wants that, unless she's just playing around or something, you know, what I mean? Unless she's just trying to have fun. But it just goes to show that the majority of people are just out there, you know, trying to have fun and not really looking for a serious relationship.
Right. I have told someone, a couple of young women I've spoken with in the past recent months, that I'm not just looking to date just to date any and anybody. I want to date with a purpose. I'm dating with a purpose. And the response I get is, you sound like that's something I would normally hear from a woman. I'm like, I don't want to be wasting my time. I know women like to play games. It doesn't matter the age. Women are about playing games. Not all of them, but quite a bit of them want to play that game because they are part of this quote unquote sister code that they're in, that they belong to this, you know. So
they say that they like to be chased, right? But I think they like chasing.
Yeah,
well,
you know? I agree.
And if the guy leads with a relationship, what there's no reason to chase that guy anymore. You already have him. You know?
Exactly.
Like he's already on your case, essentially.
Exactly. Another thing I'm going
that attractive.
You're right. Another thing I'm going to mention, that the way his posture is like he's sitting in a defeated posture while she's sitting in a very
bossy.
Yeah, exactly. Even the way she looks at him, she looks at him with a bit of respect, I think, but it's as if she is the one that's poised, shoulders up, upright, sit. She's the one that defeated him, and while he's in a defeated posture.
She does look like she can bench like 185 easy.
Oh well,
look at her arms, bro.
Yeah, that's
strong.
Maybe she goes to the gym, you know. But I'm just looking at their posture. But let's get back into it.
It in general, a lot of the people that I meet, either they don't have time to set towards building something like that, or they just don't want to because, you know, they're younger, they want to experience, you know, casual dating or whatever it is. And it's just not something that I'm looking for right now.
Understood. So obviously, guys, Jay's saying that they're viewing him in a negative light when it comes to dating. When I saw Jay, I saw someone who was making some excellent points, who knew what he wanted.
True.
And he's actually now like a Giga Chad, in the manosphere world, in the red pill community. The brother's being mentioned everywhere for the way he handled that conversation.
Look at her
I'm going to
face.
ask Alicia as well, because during this conversation, Alicia.
Thank
We'll
you.
get that right.
So he showed her some
So,
respect.
Alicia,
He corrected
you didn't seem
Wesley.
to really disagree with what he was saying. Now, you had definitely a different opinion before he gave you his mind, right? But you seemed very receptive to it. Can you explain to me kind of what you were thinking and how you saw him in that video? Because he's saying they took him in a negative light. What do you think?
Well, yes, I think once we had the conversation, I could see my role in the conflict.
Okay, okay.
Accountability.
Just back up a little bit. To be fair, I mean, I was always raised that the man is supposed to cater to you. I mean, you're courting me, so court me.
Mhm.
That means wherever I want to go, you take me.
Wow.
Whatever I want, you buy me.
You
That's
see,
courting.
you see that childlike, you see that childlike behavior. Whatever I want, you buy me. Whatever, wherever I want to go, you take me. It's like I'm looking at my daughter saying the exact same thing, right? And she's twice the age of my daughter, and is that she still have that same childlike mannerism, that entitled. It's as if Jay is the parent, and he's supposed to give her what she wants. Whatever I want, you buy me. Wherever I want to go, you take me. Mommy, daddy.
It's funny, right? Like how they always mention that they were raised on how to receive, right? Like how to somebody takes care of them and stuff. They were raised like that, but nobody ever raised them what they have to do.
Exactly.
What they're responsible for. Like I mean, you're supposed to do something too.
Exactly.
Did they raise you? Like, do you know what your responsibilities are? Like I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
So, but after the conversation, I could see how there was a lot of in that exchange. I was definitely very self-centered, and I can appreciate if I do want someone to provide for me, I at least gotta be a little bit nice.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay, great. So now I'll ask you this. Based on your idea of dating before your conversation with Jay, how did you grow up? Who also thinks that?
One point that I wanted to make. This is why it's good to actually check women when they misbehave, when they step out of line, because they may not respond, well in the moment, but when they think about it after some time has passed, like they're more likely to respect you. If she misbehaves, and he doesn't check her, then there's no reason for her to show any accountability.
Exactly.
She's not going to think twice about it. She's going to think she was in the right because he changed his behavior.
Right.
If he puts his foot down, and you check the person on their behavior, it makes them think, which helps them grow.
Right.
Which, if you ask me, I would say that's more of a sign that the person actually cares about you.
Right. True.
If you allow somebody to actually grow and be better than what they started off with, then that's because you care about that person.
That's true.
If you don't care about them, then you would want them to stay and remain wherever they are forever.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
Friends who think that way, I've heard it a lot.
I mean, everybody. I mean, that's what the man's he's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
So, and beautiful woman. So, I'm expecting to be treated like royalty. I mean, come on.
Oh, come on. I'm a wow. She says she's a beautiful woman. So, okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, I have my opinion of where she is. I'm not the best looking guy on the planet, I could be considered a footsome guy, not a handsome guy, a footsome guy. But for her to be saying that self-centered, indulgent mindset, like, I'm a beautiful woman, right? I'm supposed to be treated like royalty. She probably don't even know how to walk like royalty, right? I don't have the poise like royalty.
The self-entitlement that she's exhibiting is actually more of a turn-off than it is a turn-on, you know?
Yes.
Like that type of attitude actually knocks her down a couple of points, I would say.
Exactly.
You know?
She watched the movies, right? Those movies that tells women that they are princesses and queens, and some men, we go out and we call them, hey queen, how you doing, queen? And we give them what they want, but then they become so, they take that, they internalize it and become so indulgent in what their expectations are. Like, she's expecting to be treated like royalty. Where is your crown?
How do we treat him? And that's where the disconnect was.
Right.
In the video, now of course I'm sure you think of it differently now, but in the video you basically told him that, you know, you're not going in there, you know your value. It would be embarrassing for you to go inside a Cheesecake Factory. A lot of people like Cheesecake Factory. Now, so when I see that video, I'm thinking, okay, she must have some friends who probably would disagree with her going inside a Cheesecake Factory. Your peer group. So peer pressure probably keeps you from.
Live that. Oh my God. Yeah, I would never live that down.
Wow. I mean, ain't the Cheesecake Factory. They wouldn't let you live that down.
Oh, I have the image to protect her.
Wow.
Does not do that. I mean, that was.
She has a royal image to protect. A royal image to protect. Look at her. Look at her. Just look at her posture. Look at her womanerisms. Mannerisms. Womanerisms. Right? Look at her womanerisms, right?
It's almost like she doesn't know exactly like how to be, you know. She's trying to be humble, you know, like, but not at the same time, obviously, right? Like, she's not, this is the opposite of humble.
Right.
She thought she was being cooperative, but she was not.
Right.
You know? She didn't step out of the car to go to the Cheesecake
Right.
Factory.
She locked the door to prevent him from opening the door for her. Right. As the quote unquote gentleman that's
being uncooperative. Right. The opposite of what she said.
Exactly. Right. And even now she's still portraying that same kind of personality.
Yeah.
Circle though. That's how. I mean, that's how we roll.
Sure.
I mean, to be quite blunt, that's how we roll.
That's our friend circle.
Hyperbole is a big thing in my circle. It's what we've been taught. Well, I mean, as a black woman, I'm going there. I mean, as a black woman,
that color bullshit again. I am so tired of hearing, why do we have to put a color before to emphasize our background or ethnicity? A woman is a woman. A man is a man. We don't have to say black man, white man, black woman, white woman.
And yeah, she mentions like hypergamy, which I'm surprised that she knows that word.
No, I think most of them know. I think
most women, I think onto that. Yeah, yeah. It is like when I first heard it in the manosphere, you know, like I had to look that up, you know, to find out exactly. But she says that we're taught hypergamy. Hypergamy is a biological instinct.
It's a biological instinct, right?
A woman's insatiable need for upward mobility. Like they always date up, you know, like they're not gonna pick somebody up off the street, you know, and take care of him.
No,
they may do that, yes, but if you ask them, typically it doesn't last. Like it may be for a little bit. If you ask them afterwards, you know, like about the relationship, there'll be a tone of resentment in their voice.
Yes.
You know,
True.
it's not like how a man does it. When he provides, he feels good because he's fulfilling his purpose. You know, like that is actually part of who we are. Like we want to provide, we want to take care of somebody. So when we do those things, we feel good about them. You know, when a woman does them, she's always speaking in a resentful tone of voice.
Yes,
you know, like she's not bragging about it. You know, like she's not. Oh, I take care of this guy. You know, like to their girlfriends.
It's just a natural instinct. That's the natural instinct that she portray, and a lot of women like her portray. They have that resentment when they feel like they have to do something for a man. Like, we're supposed to do everything. Granted, we're men, so we're going to play that role. We're not even playing the role. We are fulfilling our duties as a man. But when they are doing it, that, like you say, that resentment, as if they are playing a role.
Exactly. Like they you know, that if anything, they're probably taught that. They probably heard that somewhere, and now they're stepping out of their feminine to be more in their masculine. Which typically, like again, like because of polarities, you know, like we're attracted to the opposite. You know, like every time something happens in a relationship where a guy becomes too feminine, like, you know, like being overly sensitive or something like that, women find that repulsive. They're not attracted to a feminine man. Just the same as men are not attracted to a masculine woman. You know?
Right, true.
So if they get into that habit of where they're taking care of a guy, it's not gonna like, it may last for a little bit, you know, like you know, but it won't last. You know, it won't go the distance. You know, it will end.
Having to settle. We want to be treated well. We want that soft life. Go there. Perfectly. It's a big thing in my circle. It's what we've been taught. Well, I mean, as a Black woman, I can go there. I mean, as a Black woman, we're really tired of having to settle. We want to be treated well. We want that soft life. So that's what I thought I was going after. However, what I understand is a part of having a soft.
You see, when she say we want that soft life, you pointed out, look at his face.
Yeah,
he has that. He detests that. I don't know if
it was also when she said about settling, that he made that face, like you know, we don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear, you know, that you know, like, imagine what he just told, what she just told him, you know.
Yeah,
that women are settling for men. So he's basically thinking, okay, so
she's settling for me.
Enough.
Exactly.
Right, exactly, you know?
That's exactly. When she said that, and we looked at his face and how he cringed.
Yeah.
She is basically telling him that I'm settling for you because you're not what I want.
Right. You have to step up your game. You have to do more stuff.
I don't even think it's. I don't even think it's about stepping up his game, because obviously the guy looks like he's financially good, right? But she's not 100% attracted to him.
Yeah.
Because if she was, he wouldn't have to put up with that bullshit. Right? She would be the one bending. I'm gonna make a funny. She would probably get out of the car and go open the door for him. I'm just joking, everybody. I'm just joking. All right, little satire here.
Cooperative.
Being soft.
Not being combative.
Right. Actually being soft. Right. And receptive, being sweet,
Absolutely.
being pleasant, right? Because we do understand the value of resources, but it can't be just something for a lifestyle. Resources, a man's resources is not just for a woman's experiences and traveling, and the lifestyle they'll live when married is for providing for the family and the children. And that's why she should seek a man and, you know, respect his resources, or prioritize his resources, not just for what it can do for her. Right. And so when you were at the beginning of it, you were just saying, I'm not doing it. It seemed really selfish. Right. And I appreciated that when I saw the video myself. That's one of the things I covered as wow. I've never seen a woman that receptive to being accountable. Right. And you were. But Jay, however, he didn't want to go out on a date. He wanted to discontinue that date, and he wanted to take it on to the house. Jay, is that your first time stopping a date midway through and going on back home, or?
Yeah, something like that's. I'm sorry. At least that's the first time I've really like put my foot down to that kind of extent. But it's not like an isolated incident. You know, like I've gone on dates with several people now, even before her, where they had very specific things they were looking for in a boyfriend or whatever, and even within my own circles, right? And that's just not something that I'm looking for, because I was raised like we were talking about how she was raised, whereas with me, like my family, like we've passed down the name for ages, and we're a very close knit, strong family.
You passed down your first name, Jay? Like
yes.
Your father's and father's
Yeah,
father. How many generations, probably?
I mean, I couldn't really count it myself, because I mean the thing is, like, I'm from India,
Okay.
you know, and the partition happened where like India was separated from Pakistan, and a lot of my family were on both sides of that, and we had to come back together, and we had to. It was very important for us to stay strong after the fact.
Family dedication.
At the time, maybe we didn't care as much about like creating this legacy, but ever since, it's like that's been one of the strongest parts of our family, is the importance in creating our legacy. And with that in mind, like I've grown up with the idea that I want a strong family here now that I'm living in America. The only kind of relationships I seek are ones where that is the only value. That is the biggest value. That is the most important thing for the other person as well as for me.
Wow. That's actually powerful. So your family going through all that they did, it caused you guys to really idealize relationships, right? And
specifically relationships that last.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so here you are in America dating, and mostly in our culture, where you said it earlier, you were a black woman. Of course, we have been through some things, right? In our culture here in the States and throughout the whole diaspora, I like using that word. But a lot of times our culture has been stripped, and we haven't yet began to idealize relationships, you know, so we're more so going along with the flow. So here he is in America, and he's meeting a woman who's in America, and she sees dating the way Americans see dating. And so I can see the clash in that.
Yeah.
You know, he's looking at you as if that's selfish. You're looking at him as if, you know, he's treating you beneath your worth. Right. You actually value. So here's what I want to do, guys. I want to go back a bit. Can y'all tell me how y'all met? I want you to tell me how you guys met.
So I was in Midtown, and like I barely even have time to go out with friends and all that, but it was a really close friend's birthday, so I went to get some drinks for the first time in ages, and I saw this beautiful woman who it seemed like every other guy in the bar was either intimidated by or too shy to talk to, and I thought, what the hell, why not? And she was, you know, minding her own business, and I asked her, you know, her name, Alicia, and I thought that's a beautiful name, and even despite how loud it was in the bar, we were still able to talk a little here and there, and I got her number, and she had to go. And so we kept talking after that for a little bit, and then like a week later, I asked her, you want to go out?
You see the way he looks at her, like with the admiration, like he's still into her. Like, you know, I see that, like that admiration and I'm going to give her some credit. The way she looked at him and the way she's looking at him right now.
She looks at him like she could swallow him up like a little croqueta.
And he's like, they I think they like each other. They do like each other, right? They do like each other.
To this restaurant.
Yeah.
And I told her it would be a surprise. And maybe that might be a problem on my part. You know, it might have raised the expectations a little bit. But I guess the surprise ended up being Cheesecake Factory, where The original surprise was
I want to get to that. You had something else planned for her, right?
Yeah.
Because of how the evening went, to Cheesecake Factory happened, right?
Yeah. And can I just say,
Sure.
I love the Cheesecake Factory, and it's a place that I've gone to for like every birthday. So,
Who doesn't love the Cheesecake Factory, right?
It's a
good spot, yeah.
To me. It was also like a place that
I mean, I don't eat meat, right? And I like the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Do they have good like vegan options?
Yeah, they have salmon. You know, I'm a pescatarian, so they have salmon. But when I ask them to do the salmon for me, I tell them no butter, no salt. I tell them everything I don't want on it. And they said, "Do you want it to be fried?" I'm like, "No, put it on the grill. No butter, just on the grill. Just seasons. If you have seasons without any salt, use that, right?" And they oblige to those requests. So I like the Cheesecake Factory. You know. I don't.
They have good portions.
Yes,
you know, like,
yes.
You actually leave satisfied.
Exactly. Well, yeah, they have decent portions.
Yeah, some. I mean,
I wouldn't say good portions because we look at us. We're big men. We want. Good.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's. I don't remember leaving hungry. You know, like they actually. The portions are good. They're decent size.
And if you ask for thing in moderation, they'll give it to you.
Yeah.
You know, you want to feel that you want to feel satisfied.
I haven't been in a while, but it's a nice.
throughout my entire life, and I love Cheesecake.
So you didn't. So obviously the because you guys were late, she wasn't ready. You weren't able to take her to the restaurant that you wanted to take her to. You figured, I can't go wrong with Cheesecake Factory. It's my old birthday restaurant, you know.
It's my lucky.
She'll love it.
That's the lucky spot too.
And she crapped all over that.
Yeah.
I'm kidding with you.
Poor guy.
So Jay, you see Jay walking up to you in the bar, say Midtown. He's walking up to you. He's going to talk with you. There are other guys around you. Did you notice those guys probably want to talk to you? Did you see that? And so what made you say, okay, I'm going to give this guy a chance? What was it about him?
Well, he was bold enough to come up and talk to me. So yes, I definitely am attracted to confidence. He just seemed like he had a pure heart. He was, very thoughtful, engaging. I mean, the only he won me over. He did win me over, but I'm a tall woman, and so there wasn't necessarily like that immediate attraction. But as we began to talk, it was really his heart that made me say, "Give this guy a try."
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where you draw your line? Is that typically you don't date guys who are guys have to be at least your height or taller before you would date them?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I understand that. That probably makes it difficult finding someone suitable for yourself. You are what, 6'1", 6?
I'm almost 6'1", yeah.
Almost 6'1". Wow. So that means, let's see, 14.5% of men are at least 6 feet, right? But that next 2 inches for you to find someone taller than you, that's 3.6% of men in the entire world that are tall enough that are at least 6'2". Is that discouraging?
I mean, I only need one.
You need one, but he needs to be that height. He needs to make the resources, right?
Yeah.
He needs to be funny. He needs to be charismatic. He needs to be disciplined. And that doesn't discourage you.
I'm an optimist, but no.
Then I like it.
Yeah, but no. I mean,
an optimist.
What she's not understanding is that those guys are on, like a lot of women prefer those guys. So she's competing, but you see her head is full with how beautiful she is.
Yeah,
so
that's the delusion.
Right,
Yeah, delusion. Of how beautiful she is. And
because the thing is, like, tall guys, like, they don't necessarily go around looking for somebody who's 6'1".
That's true. That's true.
Like,
well, hey. I'm a tall guy, right? I'm almost 6'3", 6'2" and a half. Hey, I did get that little half inch in, right? But
You still prefer tall women?
Yeah, I like tall women. I don't mind a woman that's 5'4", 5'5", 5'6", but I prefer taller women. I've dated women that are 6 foot. I've dated women that are 6'1". Like I like tall women. I like tall, slim woman with a nice shape, nice figure. I don't mind if a woman have a little size on her, but it has to be right, and it has to be proportion to her height. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, she's not just tall. She looks quite built.
being built is not the problem.
What I'm saying is, it would, if you take the 3.6% that's over, that meets her height criteria, right? It's just like another fraction of that doesn't line up, with that they wouldn't like her. You
exactly.
I mean?
Like for me,
we're talking about dividing up that number more and more and more until you end up with essentially just maybe one or two guys in the whole world, And
exactly.
then it's not just about discouraged. Aren't you discouraged? It's just it won't happen,
Yeah.
It's very unlikely for somebody who meets her criteria to actually like her back as well. Is there going to be chemistry?
Right.
There's so many other things at play here.
And for what I'm going to say next, I might catch a lot of flack for that. Like, I don't like the fake eyelashes. I don't like the fake hair. Right. I don't mind a woman having braids in her hair, but that shit all the way down her back, down her butt, I don't like that. How she has her eyelashes, the fake eyelashes, the fake long weave. To me, that's a turnoff. Right? I don't mind.
A lot of those guys wouldn't like her attitude.
Exactly.
If you go, I'm a beautiful woman, I need to be taken out. If you start with that, they go wait a second, this is I'm not going to deal with that. If those guys are tall, attractive, they're on their game, they're on their purpose, they would drop her in a second.
They don't. They won't even have to worry about dropping her because the amount of woman that he would attract would make her look like, on a scale of 1 to ugly, she would be what? Maybe a
8.
Yeah,
close to ugly.
Yeah, close to ugly. Right.
And this is probably the reason why she wasn't being approached in the club.
No. I'm gonna take that back. She wouldn't be an 8. I would say on a scale of 1 to ugly, she'll probably be about maybe a 6.5, 7. Right. I wouldn't give her 8 that far up to ugly. That's kind of cruel.
Nah, I'm not feeling this girl at all.
Yeah.
There's nothing that
you and I would,
in any way.
Exactly.
And that's what I was just going to say. The reason why she wasn't being approached in the club is not because the guys are intimidated or scared or afraid of this woman, because they're just not attracted to her.
Exactly. And he's attracted to her. Maybe he liked the fact that she looks like a tall glass of water or a tall tree, and he wants to climb the tree, So
to each his own, right?
Yeah, to each his own.
I understand what you're saying. I've heard this many times, but I haven't given up on, I hadn't given up on that. But I'm actually open. I really enjoyed our conversation, so I would consider.
Well, sure, and I was going to commend you for that. I didn't see it as I know you're saying that they have to be that height, but it seems that you are willing to, make an exception, just like you did for Jay here when he walked up and he had the confidence of a 6'2" man.
A settling exception.
He had to say, and that's a good thing, because it may not be the cookie cutter thing that you plan out. So if we're going to look for a happy relationship, a harmonic one that gives our children and our lineage what they need for years and generations to come, right? We may have to make an exception or two, right?
Yeah. Sometimes it's not what we want; it's what we need, and we have to be more open to what we need.
I like that.
That's absolutely true. I was going to say, when it comes to how we date, I think a lot of it is just the information that we have, right? So what I noticed from yours and Alicia's conversation, Jay, is that you had a different view of altogether of what dating should look like leading up to a relationship, and she had a different view. And now,
what I should say is, at the very end of the day, I understand dating in America is different from where my family's from, and in a way, it's perfectly fine. started to have those views and to think of dating differently. I just think, for me, I have a very specific criteria, and it's not a long list of criteria, but it's just certain values that I
Sure. Well, I think a lot like you. That's why the video stood out to me. I believe relationships should be harmonic. They should be for a reason. So I believe in dating with intent, right? But many people in our generation today, they see dating as something that's just fun. They don't see it as a way to establish a healthy relationship. And that's what I was going to say. There's almost little to no understanding as to what dating should look like when you're trying to establish an intent for a meaningful relationship. And I think that's the biggest problem. It's not so much that people are necessarily selfish or entitled. It's more so that they don't know what they're looking for, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Oftentimes we think we know, but
Right. So when he asked you the question, you expect men to go all out on a date, huh? And you said absolutely. If he likes her, he should present that, right? He should lead and be masculine. He should be willing to pay for the meal, show up on time, open doors for her, the whole nine. But when he asked you, what is a woman expected to do? You said, look good.
Wesley said, show up on time. Show up on time. So that should apply also to the woman. The man shows up on time, but the woman should always show up on time. And oftentimes, when a man and a woman is going to go on a date, the man should know that if he tells the woman that the date is going to start, let's say at using Jay's scenario at 4:00, he should have, if he had experience with dating, he should have known. He should have told her 3:00, because I've been on dates and when I'm going to tell a woman that the date, I'm going to come and pick you up at, let's say, 7:00. I don't tell her I'm going to come and pick you up at 7:00 when I know that we have our expectation, our reservation at 8.
Right.
I tell her I'm coming out to pick her at 6:30. So that I give her us at least from 6:30 to 7:30 to get to the restaurant, and the reservation is at 8. That will give us about a half an hour if they're backed up.
Yeah.
So
things can happen. Yeah,
exactly.
And that's where right?
disconnect.
Absolutely. Because there should be things that a woman should do, right? So if you've thought about that, could you tell me some of what you think now, if he would have asked you that question today?
Sure. If you think about watching the video, it's like, how do you expect this person to keep giving, and you're not giving anything back? So now we're depleted.
Absolutely.
And so who's going to pour into him?
Wow.
So, I mean,
Good point.
If you truly do want that type of protection provider, there has to be some balance.
Wow, accountability. Accountability.
That's very powerful. I actually took the liberty to make a list of things that men and women should look for in each other on a date, right? I'm going to read them to you. I want you guys to tell me what you think of it in, okay? Let's start with what you're looking for in a man, okay? So what a woman looks for in a man is respect and courtesy. Would you say I'm wrong? Confidence, right? Communication skills.
Absolutely.
Knowing what he wants, where he's going with it, right?
Yes.
Initiative, taking the initiative. Chivalry.
Yes.
Okay. Resilience.
Yes.
Right. So even when you're being a little bit, hard to get, he can push past that, right? The resilience. Generosity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
you know why she say that, right?
Look, good to a man when he's looking for a woman. I'm going to ask you the same questions. You tell me if you like the sound of that. Men are looking for.
When Kevin Wesley said generosity, she said yes, but
chivalry, yes, of course.
Yeah. But you know why she's saying that? Going back to what she said earlier, I'm royalty. I need to be courted. You as a beautiful woman, I should be courted. You should buy me what I want and take me where I want to go. Like that's why she said yes. She was very absolute in her response because that's the ulterior motive, the generosity, giving her what she wants.
Yeah,
what do you think?
You're receiving, you're getting stuff. Again. Okay, so let's see if she agrees with any of the things that men should look for.
All right, let's do that.
Right. Here are the behaviors that look good to a man when he's looking for a woman? I'm going to ask you the same questions. You tell me if you like the sound of that. Men are looking for kindness, right? You want her to be really kind, really sweet, right? Pleasant. So what about active listening?
Yeah.
And you said when she got in the car, she was putting the makeup on and she wasn't really responding to you or responsive to you.
Yeah.
You took from that she didn't like you much.
Yeah.
Right. Encouragement. And,
yes.
And you said that, being able to pour back into him, right? Positivity, right? So not being negative, having a smile on your face, right? Respect for independence.
Yeah.
Okay. Adaptability. Okay. There was this time where you wanted her to hold your arm, right? And walk you so you could walk her to the car, and she didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
You expressed to her that you didn't like that, and that made you feel like, of course, with her not being on your arm, how can you truly protect her, right? But also, her not doing that says she ain't really feeling me like that.
Yeah.
She don't really like me like that.
And I get, it was a first date. Maybe she's not at that stage yet. But
I get that too.
Yeah.
Question: let's just say you're out with him, right? You're on a date with a guy, and some guy comes up, takes your purse. Do you want your date to have your back?
Yeah.
So
he has to protect me.
He has to protect.
Even if he's not ready for that yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he shouldn't even ask you on a date if he's not going to protect you if something would happen to you. This is why you should take his arm. You see, so it may feel like I'm giving this guy too much of me, but it's more like I'm being cooperative to the roles that we're playing. He's going to protect me if something happens right now, and so I'm going to stand close to him. This lets the people on the outside looking in know that I'm with this man.
The expectation without reciprocation. That's what. Yeah, he has to protect. He should protect. That's her response. But she has expectation without reciprocation. Yeah.
Yep.
Operative to the roles that we're playing. He's going to protect me if something happens right now, and so I'm going to stand close to him. This lets the people on the outside looking in know that I'm with this man. He is taking care of me. We're out together, right?
It's like it kind of shows that you trust.
Absolutely.
I think I felt like
Trust is a big.
What women get out of a date?
Trust is a big word. How big is trust? Is it heavy? Is it wide? Is it tall, high? How big of a word is trust? Right?
I don't know. She didn't do it because she wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, like I said earlier, if it was someone that she was into, the trust being a big word would be minuscule. She would give in wholesomely.
Didn't Chris Rock say that women know within 5 minutes whether they're gonna, like within 5 minutes they already know.
Yeah.
So the fact that she wasn't feeling him at first, and I can see why, like she's like all that stuff that they say afterwards. Oh, but he won me over and all that. Like, it doesn't sound
garbage.
genuine.
It's garbage.
It doesn't sound real.
Because I've walked up to a woman, and just the way she looks at me, like she sized me up from head to toe, and once she sized me up from head to toe, and then she started giving me that banter, that sensuality about her.
Right.
I got this one. I already know it's natural. I don't have to work too hard. Of course, I have to do the things that a woman would expect for a man in trying to get to know her. But when she looks at me from head to toe and from toe to head, and she bat her eyes, I already know.
And isn't it also easier for us to do things for somebody who naturally feels us,
exactly,
who's naturally like attracted to
exactly.
us? I don't want to try, for how long, like a month, 2 months, doing things. Maybe this woman will like me, either it's natural from the beginning, from the first moment, or I don't see the point,
Right.
Just let it go. If she's not attracted to him, okay, go look for that 3.6%, and he can find himself some sweet little Indian girl.
I think she's weighing her options with him because she doesn't value him in terms of his stature, his height, right? Like she said, she's settling, or she feels like she's settling, right? So obviously he has to work harder for what she would naturally do for someone that she's attracted to.
Right.
Kind of shows that you trust.
Absolutely.
I think.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah,
Like,
it's quick.
Yeah.
What women get
We
out
can
of
set
a
it to
date
5
is a
seconds.
free bodyguard. Because if anything goes wrong with her, he has to really put his life on the line for her. So if a man asks you out on a date, you shouldn't say, I'm not ready to hold your hand. I know that seems like a move forward in a relationship, so to speak, but it's actually just part of a date. Your goal is to give him an example of what it would look like if you were his partner, and his goal is to do the same. So to a man, you not doing those things makes it appear that you're not that interested.
You're definitely not ready to be a partner, I guess.
It also kills his ability to be completely masculine for you on that date, because if you won't take his arm, then, you know.
I feel like when you just said, like, trust is a big word, it is a big word, but maybe the way I saw it is when you wanted to go out with me at all, that was you trusting me. And it did kind of hurt a little bit. I mean, again, I can respect boundaries, but it did still at the same time hurt my feelings if you didn't trust me.
And of course, as men, we're going to try to be receptive to that and understand where you're coming from. But it does kind of limit his ability to do his full, to be his full masculine self in that capacity, right?
Yeah.
The last thing I had here was intellectual stimulation, right? So we like when a woman can respond back and be attentive, right?
Yeah.
Have a good conversation, right? We look for that in women. And I definitely think she appeared to have that. You guys started off on it was a little difficult conversation, but it seems like she understood you. She was receptive to what you were saying. Is that typical for you?
Well, typically, a lot of the girls that I've met, as I said, like, they're literally only trying to date to date or to, like, have, I don't know, I'm allowed to use the word fuck buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. We're in hookup culture.
We're in a hookup culture, exactly. And so, like, they're just looking for that. And so it's like, sometimes it's not necessarily about the values or anything like that. Maybe it's like more small talk, maybe, and maybe sometimes it feels like it's something that'll take more time to get her to open up or something like that. Where at the end of the day, they don't want a second date because we haven't gotten to know each other. And that to me sounds so irritating because you didn't want to get to know we didn't get to know each other because they wouldn't want to talk.
Absolutely.
So it's like,
I completely understand. So as a man dating with intent, you're ending up in these situations where a lot of times you're in hookup culture. And so you're not getting a second date out of it. Meanwhile, here you are, you have spent your money, you spent time with this person who you're never going to likely see again.
Yeah.
Right? Women oftentimes are looking at dates as what they can get out of them, right? An experience, right? Take me to a nice restaurant. I want the ambiance. I want the treatment, right? And with no intent of doing anything special for the guy after the date. So it's almost like it's almost like she's getting over on him, right? Like she's using them for meals. And that's what men say. I'm not going to keep taking these women out if they don't like me. Don't go out if you don't like me, because then it wouldn't end up where he's on the outside looking into the thing. What do women say oftentimes when he's upset? I took you to this restaurant, I did that, and now you don't want to get close to me, you're not ready. And she's like, well, you wanted to do it. She will let him spend, knowing she's not interested in this man. Now, do you feel like that's wrong?
No. I don't like users.
It's almost like she was going to say, when he asked, do you feel that's wrong?
But she's done it like God knows how many times.
But it seemed like she was going to say no. Mm-hmm. She was going to say no. I don't
she's
think
on camera.
Yeah, but she has to recant that immediately because I don't know if you heard it. Do you want to read?
Yeah. Look, she's like women. I remember this one situation with this one girl. Mm-hmm. She was on the phone with somebody that she really wasn't into, right? And he was asking her, like, what do you want to eat? Like, he was going to get something to eat for her. And she asks me if I wanted something.
Yeah, that happened to me. That happened to me one time.
She asked me, it's like, okay, yeah, So she got this guy to get not only food for her, but like for me as well.
Yeah, that happened to me one time.
And I'm like I don't understand why they do that. Like, don't lead somebody on. Like if you're not into them, like just go get your own food.
They do the exact same thing to opposite to what they would like done for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They will do it to a guy, but you don't dare do it to them.
Yeah, if you use them, just for sex and never did anything for them, they will feel used and abused.
It's
like
not even just about the sex. If what you just told me, I can resonate with that because that happened to me too. Like, I was the guy that she was asking if I want to get something to eat, and I felt bad for the guy that she was asking to go get the food, and I told her no. I told her no, I don't want it. I don't want anything because I felt bad, but she is willing to do it to him, but let him do it to her. And she found out he would be the trash of the world, the trash of the land. He would be the worst man on the planet. She would go and denigrate every man across the globe for that one guy that asked her to buy food for another woman, while she will have no problem asking him to buy food for the guy that she's with at that moment.
She seems like she's done it many times before, but now she wants to say the right thing on camera.
Right, on camera, because the last time didn't turn out so well for her.
Spend, and spend, knowing she's not interested in this man. Now, do you feel that that's wrong?
No, I don't like users. I mean, I do think I think that we are all adults, and there's enough of every type out here to where that's not even necessary. Like, there are men that really will just spend money on you.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a certain type. There's men that go with that, but there are, men that'll just spend money on you and are okay with that. But
what do you take from that type of man? If you don't mind me asking, we call that a simp. And we call it a simp when a man is willing to buy you anything, take you anywhere, and you haven't actually earned that from him with your affection or just being there for him in general. How do you see that?
Women are being really honest. I don't think most women actually respect a man that is like that. And I think there's two different types. There's the ones that will spend money on and they're objectifying the woman and she's just like a toy for them.
Right.
And then there's the ones that really are
trying to buy his way in, just trying his best to earn any type of affection from her. And there's a lot of those. I mean, there's a lot of those women who allow that to happen, right? So that's why I take what Jay doing here as being something that is great for men everywhere. Okay, he knew his worth. You are a beautiful woman, but he said, you know what? I'm just gonna take her home. I don't have to do this. Even to the point when you said, I will go eat with you at Cheesecake Factory. He saw it as, I would have set aside.
I think Wesley is pandering to her by telling her that you are a beautiful woman, when obviously, well, hey,
he's giving Jay props for like how he handled himself. So that's
he's
telling both that like, look, you're good looking, but he did the right thing, by taking you home. And the fact that she changed her mind afterwards, now it came off as like, okay, like a second, like she didn't want to go home. So, okay, let's go to Cheesecake Factory.
Right. But what I'm saying here is that right now, I think Wesley's pandering to her by saying you are a beautiful woman, when obviously, and this is just my opinion, on a scale of 1 to ugly, she is about a 6.5, 7. Right.
Yeah, I mean, he's not gonna. They're guests.
Yeah, they're guests. So he's not gonna speak the truth. He's not like me.
you would say that?
100%. I'm not gonna. Why am I gonna lie? If we have a guest in the studio and she's going on that she's a beautiful woman, I'm gonna tell her, listen.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
calm down.
Yeah, I know I'm footsome. So you can say anything to me is possible. You can say I'm footsome. I'm the worst this or the worst that, and I will receive that. But I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm seeing in front of me, because, Clyde, you know the type of woman I've dated. You've seen the type of woman I've dated, so you know that. Yeah.
I don't have to do this. Even to the point when you said, I will go eat with you at Cheesecake Factory. He saw it as, I would have set aside the date, right? Us being late to that reservation. You're not holding my hand. You're not talking to me in the car. But it seems that you pulling out that camera really, really got to him.
Disrespectful.
Do you mind telling me what you probably took by that? You're just on a date, and all of a sudden now she's recording you.
A lot of times, if I'm the one asking a girl out, that's me already offering to pay for the meal, right? That's me already being okay with that, right?
I agree with that.
Her recording me did feel like that's where I felt like she was trying to take advantage. She was trying to and maybe you had a different view on it, but it felt like at the time that you were just trying to get food, like a free meal from a fancy restaurant, and then you get content from me too to post on YouTube, Facebook.
And you get your reputation ran through the mud, so it's all be done at your expense, right?
Literally.
Now, that wasn't your take. You have many groups where you would encourage women on dating. Y'all talk about dating, and this was something that you said. Look, y'all see a lot of dates go wrong, right? So based on your mindset, you really felt like he was taking you somewhere beneath your value, and you were saying, I'm going to show the world how you're treating me, right? Can you tell us a bit about that so he knows that it wasn't to embarrass you, it wasn't to get content, any of that. It was I felt wronged in that scenario.
Before she gets into that, Jay asked her a very good question. That he actually made a statement as opposed to asking her a question. He says that when Jay wanted to take her to the Cheesecake Factory, that was beneath her value, right? But a woman that don't ask or demand, asking is one, but demanding something is another. When a man, let me rephrase that. When a woman have certain expectations and she demands it from a man, he's not going to want to give it to her willingly, right? He may give it to her for the moment and he'll say, I'll never do that again. And he'll internalize it and have a resentment towards her for demanding and it with that expectation. But when a woman is feminine, right? And if she is willing to go to the Cheesecake Factory with him without any disregard or resentment to the fact that they're going to the Cheesecake Factory, the next date might have been somewhere way better than he wanted to take her originally, right? He would have probably give her the world. You know that there's a song, an old time song, where there's a group, I forgot the name of the group, but the guy said, the singer said, I'll give you the rain, the moon, the stars, and the mountain. You know that song? You ever heard it? But he would give her the rain, the moon, the stars, and the mountain. He'll give her the world and even more, right? But with that expectation, she demanding it. It's as if the man is telling the woman, I want this and you must do this for me, as opposed to knowing that she's a woman and she's supposed to be feminine and she reside in that femininity and allow him to reside in his masculinity, and then he gives her everything that she wants because she's allowing for his masculinity to shine while and her femininity to allow his masculinity to be masculine, and then he'll give her what she wants.
She put a stop on it. You know, like by acting the way she did. She disabled things. She didn't allow things to unfold.
Exactly.
The proper way.
Exactly.
That it wasn't to embarrass you. It wasn't to get content. Any of that. It was I felt wronged in that scenario. You mind?
No, I did. I felt like you didn't see my value. And, in that moment, I felt like I needed the support of my viewers in that moment. And not only that, like he said, I discuss relationships and things like that. So I thought that was a good opportunity for me to kind of have that conversation and see, like, what does everybody else think?
I guess
wasn't really
you know.
taking your feelings into consideration. I wasn't trying to be necessarily malicious.
I understand.
Good, good. I'm gonna say this, guys, to end this video, okay? In a world with hookup culture, not having much understanding on relationships based on how we're raised, and then you got social media with the instant gratification and making it so easily to meet people and replace people. Dating has gotten, it's like a thing that's lost to us. I want to ask these two beautiful people here a question. They had one date that went bad. They have not went on a date since that day, right? Now, would you guys be open to another date, knowing what you know now?
I think if we were able to find a way to get our values more in the center, I could see us trying again.
I mean, yeah, I would be willing to go out on a date again.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Listen, we want to keep up with this first date. Actually, we're going to take care of this first date. It's going to be on us. So we're going to send you somewhere just like they used to do on all those other talk shows. We're going to take care of it. And then we'll reach back to you guys in a couple of weeks and find out how that's going. How does that sound? I was wondering what you guys are up to.
As long as it's not the cheesecake now.
Oh, she's funny, man.
Yeah, I think she's.
Guys, this was an amazing episode of The Truth Factory. Hopefully you guys learned something from that and can apply it to your life. Happy hunting for your next partner. I'll see you guys next time.
I see you, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like, I think they shouldn't push it anymore. Like I have this this vision just right now. They walk out of there. The guy asks her, and she goes like, "Look, man, like I was just being polite on camera."
Yeah, I see.
Like, please don't ask anymore. You know, like this is not gonna work out.
I have hopes for them. I think I give her some credibility here. I think she realized her mistake. She did take some accountability, a whole lot of accountability, if I might add. And I think she learned her recording the video was her lesson in truth and respect for a man that's trying to do good by her. And the fact that she got so much vitriol from so many people, she realized the error in her ways. Yeah. And on that note,
I don't see it, but okay, all right.
And on that note, thank you, everyone.
Shout out to, what's his name? Kevin what?
Kevin Wesley. Shouts out to Kevin Wesley. It was a great interview. And we look forward to seeing what comes up of this next date, the next first date.
The sequel.
Yeah, the sequel. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, do all of that stuff. All right, get this video in the algorithm, and let's allow us to do more of these kind of content for you. Right? Thank you.